Okay, good evening and welcome to Iyun Benzion, a special evening edition. It's already night over here, 10 to 6 over here in Israel. Um, Today's the daf is daf ches number 8 in Nedarim. I want to talk about um, the top of the Gemara. The Gemara has two statements. First statement is the same rabbi, Rav Gidal Marab. How do you know that you take a shvuah l'kayim es a mitzvah? Interesting lashon l'kayim es a mitzvah. It sounds like a mitzvah kiyumis. Just introduced the concept that Chaim Brisker, I think, makes a famous distinction. Some mitzvahs you have an obligation to do, like eating matzah on the first night of Pesach. Other mitzvahs, you don't have an obligation to do this, but you have a reshus, you have an opportunity to do them, and you don't get a reward for doing a mitzvah chiyuvis, right? The Gemara says, greater osa mitzvah, what does the Gemara say? The Gemara says, if you're mitzvah osa, you're commanded to do it, you get more schar than someone ain't mitzvah osa. But it's mashma from the Gemara. Even say ain't mitzvah osa, like women, they don't have to hear shofar. They hear it as mitzvah kiyumis. It's a mitzvah that you get schar for, but it's not the same schar someone is obligated. So the Gemara is in the Mishnah and the kind of mitzvah. The Gemara asks, what's the Gemara's question? So the way the Archkel explains it, most Rishonim explain it, the Gemara says, no, a mitzvah is an obligation. They're not mechalik in kiyum and chiyuv. They say a mitzvah is a mitzvah. At Har Sinai, we took a shvuah. So once you take a shvuah on something, like the Gemara is going to say in a second, ain't shvuah chal shvuah. I can't take a shvuah. It doesn't help to take a shvuah to do a mitzvah. The shvuah is not effective. So what's the Gemara saying over here? So the Gemara says, Ella hakamashma the sharla inish zuzay nafshi. The Gemara says, you're right. It's not really a shvuah. And therefore, if you don't do the mitzvah, you're not violating the shvuah. However, it's a good thing, even though normally you're going to learn, you're not supposed to take Nedarim, and also shvuah is probably not supposed to take also. In order to get yourself, motivated to do a mitzvah, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to do it, even though the shvuah is not chal. And then the Gemara continues. A person says, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to learn the whole Masechtas Nedarim. I had a friend who literally did this once in Morisha Kolel. I think he learned Masechtas Nedarim in like a couple days. I don't know, but we were 18 years old. He finished Shas like at his wedding. He was pretty darn good. He's a rabbi now in West Hempstead, where I'm from. So if you say you're going to get up and learn entire Masechta, it's a great net there. Where I asked a similar question. Vela Mushra Omim Arsina, he's Mushra Omim. Learning Torah is a mitzvah. You already took a shvuah Arsina, it's not chal. And then the Gemara adds, Vein shvuah chal shvuah. Why does the Gemara add this lashon? Vein shvuah chal shvuah. Before it should have added that. That's really the question. Vein shvuah chal shvuah. It should have added this line before. So the Gemara says, "My kamashlan I feel is zuzi ba'alma." I heard the Rav Gidlach. What are you going to tell me? It's the same answer we said before, that it's not chal, but nonetheless you're doing it to motivate yourself. So the Gemara ends, technically all he has to do is say Kriya Shema. So therefore, what? So therefore, it's a mitzvah kiyumis to learn Masechta, or something else, the Gemara is saying. So I'm going to give an explanation of the Gemara based on this chiluk I'm making between a mitzvah kiyumis and mitzvah chiyuvis over here. The Gemara originally, right? Like the Gemara is going to discuss in a second, to take a shvuah to eat matzah on the first night of Pesach, it's not chal. Mushra Omar Asina. Like Gemara says in the second statement, ain't shvuah chal shvuah. It doesn't take effect at all. To take a shvuah, like kaim esim, how do you know? That would be chal. I take a shvuah to eat matzah on the second day of Pesach. I don't have to eat matzah on the second day of Pesach. The Gra says it's kiyumis. So if I take that shvuah, right, how do I know I'm allowed to take a shvuah like that? Like kaim esim mitzvah. So the Gemara asks, the Gemara says, well, even a mitzvah kiyumis, right? There's technically a shvuah, right? The Gemara is assuming at this point in the Havim, there's a shvuah on that also. So really, not ein shvuah chal shvuah, because it's a mitzvah kiyumis. There was no shvuah. You didn't swear to do mitzvahs. You swore to do the mitzvahs chiyuvis that you have to do, the obligation. You didn't swear to do mitzvahs that were a reshus. If I don't want to do them, I don't have to do them. The Gemara is asking, not that it shouldn't take effect, but Hashem only commanded you 613 mitzvahs. That's the Rebbe's question. And we're saying, why take chomers on yourself? Why do mitzvahs kiyumis? Hashem give 613 mitzvahs. Why are you doing more mitzvahs than Hashem says? An important lesson over here, that when you're becoming more firm, when you're becoming more attached to our mitzvahs. It's important for a Bali Shuva to know this, that sometimes there's the point in your life where it's good to take on extra chumras on yourself. Even though I say all the time, chumras are a terrible thing, terrible thing, terrible thing. Yeah, when you reach a mature age, after you've engaged in Torah mitzvahs for a long enough time, it's not good to live your life to always add chumras. There is a time when you're coming more from it. For me, this is true. That, if you don't know something, maybe it's a good thing to be a machmer, take on extra, to give special importance to mitzvahs. And that's the Gemara's Kiddush over here. You're permitted to take chumras on yourself, to take on Mrs. Kiyumis, right? Like, I don't think it's a good thing for a woman to go here shofar and Rosh Hashanah. The minig is, a lot of people do it, but I don't think they should be doing it on a general basis. When they're balas tshuva, maybe, but general practice, no. If you go to a prom, I don't think so. But the Gemara says when you're becoming more from to motivate yourself, right? In order to get motivation, a Baal Tshuva needs motivation. They're coming from a situation where they were engaged in, averos, or doing terrible things. Doing things that were not part of the Torah. So to get motivation, sometimes you have to take on more, because the Torah doesn't apply to most of your life. So the chiyuvim at least to take on, make your life more Torah mitzvahs more prominent in your life. That's the Gemara is saying. L'zruzay naf, the mitzvah of zrizos. Zrizos is one of the milos in Mesilas Yeshar. It's the second milo. So it's not the end. You should do zrizos for a while and then forget about it and go back to doing kulas. But that's the Gemara is saying. And then the next question, the Gemara, I'm going to Rabbi, do. So the Gemara says that's a mitzvah of limud Torah. You have a mitzvah. You have a mitzvah to learn Torah, seemingly the whole day, right? So that's where the Gemara asks, right? And really, the question is the second question. There's a mitzvah chiyuz. You have to learn Torah every day. Right? You have to learn Torah every day. So the Gemara answers, no. Came in the body part of the Namshir of Krishna. The Gemara makes a distinction. No. When it comes to the mitzvah of limud Torah, technically, b'diavad, you could be yotze with kriya shema, shachas or arvas, and you don't have to learn a whole masechta, right? So when I accept myself to learn a whole masechta, a whole parak, that's something which is kiyumis, right? Which is something which is not, I'm not obligated to do. And that's the chiddush of the Gemara. The chiddush is that I wouldn't have known that, right? If I would have just said, right, I would have thought maybe it's mitzvah chiyuz, ain't shvua chal shvua. The chiddush is you could take a shvua, and yes, l'zruzei nafshe, because again, b'diavad, technically all you have to do the chiyuv is to learn, the bare minimum is to learn kriya shema shachas v'arvis. A higher level is to learn as much as you can for a certain amount of time in your life. So that's what the Gemara is answering, that learning a masechta or a perek is more than the prescribed. Now you don't have to learn that. You don't have to learn that much every day, and that's just mitzvah kiyumis, like we said, and therefore it goes back as the chiddush of the Gemara that this is also mitzvah kiyumis. Now the chiddush of the second thing of the Gemara is that you might think it's a mitzvah kiyumis, right? Learning Torah all day or as much as you can, learning Torah. No, the Gemara says kovei itim laTorah. They always say kovei itim laTorah. It says in Perkei Avos is that you should make sure you don't learn the whole day. Kovei itim laTorah. Make sure you have times to learn. The rest of the time you're doing other things, earning a job, earning a living, having fun, things like that. There's times to learn Torah and there's times not to learn Torah. As the Torah is telling you, if you want to accept for a certain amount of time, be machmer and try to learn Torah all day, so that's a mitzvah kiyumis, that's a nice thing to do, but technically that's not the essential chiyuv. Kovei itim laTorah, only learn Torah part of the day. Anyway, see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good night. Bye.